Hello, everyone. This is Gagandeep, a clinical psychologist at Unique Psychological Services. We welcome you to UniPsy Academy, a division of Unique Psychological Services dedicated to excellent coachings, courses, internships, training programs, and a lot more. The key aim of UniPsy Academy is to help you develop as many skills as you can and to ensure that your concepts in psychology are absolutely clear and well understood. With this objective today, we are going to study another topic in research methodology and statistics called estimation. Guys, so far in inferential stats, if you remember, we spoke that there are two key tasks that inferential stats undertakes. The first one is hypothesis testing, and the second is estimation. Let's try know more about this. Guys, if you recollect, hypothesis testing refers to identifying whether a particular thing has an effect on the other or not. And estimation aims to study how much is that effect. So in that sense, estimation is one step next to hypothesis testing. In fact, both of them share a few things together, and there are some areas where they differ too. For instance, both hypothesis testing and estimation make use of sample data. So when you have to test a hypothesis or you want to estimate something about the population, in both the cases, we do not study the entire population. We draw a sample, a representative sample from that population. We actually study the sample, and the data that we obtain from the sample is used to either test a hypothesis, and if the hypothesis turns out to be true, then we take it to the next level where we try to estimate how much is the effect. So both hypothesis testing and estimation make use of either Z-scores or t-tests to find out about unknown populations. As I just mentioned, hypothesis testing is used to determine whether or not a treatment has an effect, and estimation determines how much is the effect that the treatment has. In other words, suppose we want to see that drug A is very effective for COVID. And that's the hypothesis that I'm making, that probably a vaccine ABC is known to be very effective to help people protect themselves from the chances of COVID. And I take a sample from my population, I administer this vaccine to them, and I see the results. And if I see that the vaccine turns out to be more effective in protecting people from COVID, then I'll say, well, my hypothesis is true that this vaccine is effective. Now, if I have to estimate, then I have to figure out how effective is it. For instance, would it ensure that once you have this, the chances of developing COVID are nil? Or it may indicate that you may develop COVID again, but the effects may not be severe. तो अगर कोई चीज इफेक्टिव है तो कितनी इफेक्टिव है, वो ट्रीटमेंट इफेक्ट स्मॉल है या लार्ज है, and that will determine should I even go for this vaccine or not. Should the companies invest in putting a lot of their funds and money to develop this particular vaccine further. मान लो अगर ये वैक्सीन लेने से इफेक्टिव तो है, मगर कोई खास फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है आपके कोविड होने या ना होने से, और इसका ट्रीटमेंट इफेक्ट बहुत छोटा है, तो प्रैक्टिकली producing this vaccine or investing more time, energy, and money at it will be of little use. On the contrary, then I look for some other vaccine that is more effective. So that is how estimation adds more value. So simply knowing कि कोई एक चीज का असर है या कोई एक ड्रग इफेक्टिव है या किसी ट्रीटमेंट का एक इफेक्ट है, वो अपने आप में काफी नहीं है. One also needs to see कितना इफेक्ट है. Is it even worth it? Should I spend my finances, my time, my energy in taking this further? And that is why we say that hypothesis testing and estimation complement each other, and they together give us more accurate information about the population that we wish to study. Now let's try and understand, when do we use estimation? There are largely three conditions under which we make use of estimation. The first one is after the hypothesis testing is done and we have rejected the null hypothesis. Remember, the null hypothesis means that there is no effect. So once we have rejected this, that means we have established that there is an effect, then we want to know how much is that effect. Therefore, the second condition is when you want to determine the size of the treatment effect, you go for estimation. Thirdly, when you simply want some basic information about an unknown population, estimation could be of use. For example, you want to know about the political attitudes of students at your college. You could use a sample of students and estimate कि क्या एटीट्यूड है, हमारे कॉलेज के बच्चे किस पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को प्रेफर करते हैं या पॉलिटिक्स में इंटरेस्ट रखते हैं, तो कितना रखते हैं, ओवरऑल उनका एटीट्यूड कैसा है टुवर्ड्स पॉलिटिक्स. आई मीन, इज इट पॉजिटिव, इज इट नेगेटिव, इज इट न्यूट्रल? सो आई वांट टू एस्टिमेट दैट, find that out. Even in that case, estimation is found very handy. So in other words, the inferential process of using sample statistics to estimate a population parameter is called estimation. For example, if we believe in the next elections that are coming up, Narendra Modi has a chance of being re-elected as a prime minister, then estimation will help us to figure out how much is that chance. So the moment I say that probably there are 70% chances that Mr. Narendra Modi is likely to get re-elected as a prime minister of India, I am making use of estimation. I am guessing कि संभावना कितनी है. So this percent estimate is obtained from a sample, and this sample statistics is being used as an estimate of the population parameter. कैसे कर रही हूं मैं ये? मैंने population लिया, मैं उसमें से एक सर्वे किया, एक सैंपल ड्रॉ किया, उन जो भी मेरा रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सैंपल आया, मैंने उनसे पूछा जो आपका क्या एटीट्यूड, आपकी क्या राय है, क्या मिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी को हमारा अगला प्रधानमंत्री होना चाहिए? तो मेरी जो फाइंडिंग्स आई, और वहां पर अगर मैंने देखा कि उस सैंपल के अंदर approximately 70% people believe that he should be, so this would help me indicate that probably 70% of the population has this opinion that Narendra Modi should be the next prime minister. Therefore, I'm estimating that his chances of being re-elected as a prime minister are much higher and around 70%. I'm sure you will understand that जब भी हम पॉपुलेशन के बारे में कुछ भी इन्फर कर रहे हैं, एंड वी आर नॉट स्टडिंग एवरी सिंगल एलिमेंट ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन बट वी आर स्टडिंग अ सैंपल, तो वो ऑब्वियसली एक एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट वैल्यू नहीं होगा. एक सैंपल कभी भी आपको पॉपुलेशन का परफेक्ट पिक्चर नहीं देता है, एक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव पिक्चर देता है. तो देयरफॉर सैंपल स्टैटिस्टिक्स और पॉपुलेशन स्टैट्स में थोड़ा अंतर आएगा ही आएगा. सो दिस डिफरेंस बिटवीन द वैल्यू दैट यू ऑब्टेन about the population when you study a sample and the value that you would have got if you had studied every element of the population, तो ये जो difference है उसे हम sampling error कहते हैं. जब हम estimate करते हैं तो हम दो तरह के estimates करते हैं. एक होता है point estimate, दूसरा होता है interval estimate. Point estimate uses a single number as an estimate of unknown quantity. For example, in the example before that we did, we said that the chances of Mr. Narendra Modi to be elected as the prime minister again are around 70%. So that is a point estimate. But if I say that his chances of being elected are somewhere between 50 to 60% or 60 to 70%, then I'm here using a range of values. This would be an example of interval estimate. Certainly, point estimates are more precise. I'm being more specific here. But well, my confidence will go down because exact number guess करना बड़ा मुश्किल काम है. तो मैं 100% श्योरिटी से नहीं कह पाऊंगी, या मैं कितनी श्योरिटी से कह रही हूँ, मैं कितनी कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ कि हाँ यार पक्की बात है 70% होगा ही होगा, या 70 सीट से ये इंडिविजुअल अपनी दूसरी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी से आगे निकलेगा. तो वो कॉन्फिडेंस मेरा कम होगा बिकॉज एक स्पेसिफिक नंबर है. हाँ, अगर मैं एक रेंज की बात कर रही हूँ, आई मे नॉट बी एज प्रिसाइज हियर, बट माई कॉन्फिडेंस विल बी हायर. ऑल्सो मेरे इस रेंज का विथ, इस इंटरवल का विथ जितना बड़ा होगा, सपोज मैं बोल रही हूँ यार आपके चांसेस एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन क्लियर करने के अराउंड और बिटवीन 70 to 80% है, एंड इफ ऐसे आपके चांसेस 40 to 80 हैं, अब मेरी 40 to 80 की रेंज 70 to 80 से ज्यादा हो गई, तो मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस 40 to 80 में हायर होगा. मैं ज्यादा कॉन्फिडेंट क्या हूँ, पक्की बात है यार 40 to 80% के बीच में तो आएगा ही आएगा. बट 70 to 80 जब कह रही हूँ तो प्रोबेबली उतना कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं हो रहा है कंपैरेटिवली. बट व्हेन आई से वेल आई एम 80% श्योर कि आप क्लियर करोगे ही करोगे, तो उसमें कॉन्फिडेंस रिलेटिवली और कम होगा. सो इन द सेंस कि जितना बड़ा रेंज है, जितना ज्यादा ब्रैकेट आप लेकर चल रहे हो, उतना आप कॉन्फिडेंट और वैल्यू इसके बीच में कहीं ना कहीं तो आएगी यार. एज सिंपल एज दैट. बट वेल, बोथ काइंड्स ऑफ एस्टिमेट्स आर मेड. यूजुअली we go for interval estimates because when we talk of people or human populations, they're very very unpredictable. तो एक सटीक एक single number पिन करना आमतौर पे मुश्किल होता है, and that is why often you will see that in stats people make use of interval estimates more frequently than point estimates. Now, when an interval estimate is accompanied by a specific level of confidence or probability, that's called a confidence interval. So when I'm saying that I'm 95% sure that this is going to happen, I am 95% sure that Narendra Modi is going to win in the next elections by around 70 to 80 seats. तो ये जो मेरा 95% कॉन्फिडेंस है ना, वो मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस इंटरवल है. यानी मैं कितना लेवल ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस या प्रोबेबिलिटी के साथ बोल रही हूँ कि जो मैं एस्टिमेट कर रही हूँ, जो संभावना मैं बना रही हूँ, उसके सत्य होने के चांसेस हाई हैं. Now, this confidence interval will certainly depend upon quite a number of things, guys. As we just mentioned in the previous slide, कि मेरी इंटरवल की विथ कितनी है. तो जितनी बड़ी विथ है, उतना मेरा हायर कॉन्फिडेंस है. ये फर्स्ट फैक्टर है. इसी वजह से बोलते हैं कि देयर इज अ ट्रेड ऑफ बिटवीन प्रिसिशन एंड कॉन्फिडेंस. सो व्हेन आई मेक अ पॉइंट एस्टिमेट, आई एम वेरी वेरी प्रिसाइज, बट माय कॉन्फिडेंस विल बी लेसर. बट व्हेन आई गो फॉर अ रेंज, well, the precision may be less, but my confidence is relatively higher. The second factor on which the level of confidence that I carry or my confidence interval will depend will also be based on the sample size. जितना बड़ा सैंपल है, उतना ज्यादा वो पॉपुलेशन का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है, उतना ज्यादा एक्यूरेट मैं अंदाजा लगा पा रही हूँ, तो उतनी ही ज्यादा मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल होगा. मगर जितना छोटा मेरा सैंपल साइज होगा, उतना ही मेरा सैम्पलिंग एरर भी बढ़ जाता है. और रिलेटिवली हो सकता है वो पॉपुलेशन के सारे पैरामीटर्स को इंक्लूड ना करे और उतना एक्यूरेट इंफॉर्मेशन मुझे ना दे अबाउट द पॉपुलेशन, तो मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस भी रिलेटिवली लो होगा. सो इन शॉर्ट, कॉन्फिडेंस इंटरवल डिपेंड्स अपॉन one, the width of the interval, second, the size of the sample. I hope by now your understanding of the concept of estimation and where and how it is used in inferential stats is far more clearer. Hope you enjoy learning, guys. See you soon with another video. Thank you.